guys? We are back with another What If Yuji video. Now, today it's going to be part 2 to What If Yuji had haki. I'm going to have to finish this series off. I just can't have it in the background. People are asking for part 2 and everything like that. I had to remake part 1. So yeah, anyways, we are just going to go on to a time to where Nanami and Yuji... Oh wait, my bad. We are going to start this What If off. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. At the end of the video, what you guys think. Now we start this What If. Okay. So we start this What If off during the time where Nanami and Yuji are in the sewers as they're confronting a Mahito. Now, this is when Nanami would tell Yuji to go and find that boy that walked out of the theater. Now, that being Junpei, of course, Yuji is gonna comply, but Yuji says, well, wouldn't you need help, Nanami? As Nanami would say, I don't really need any help, actually, Yuji. Just follow orders and make sure you don't get hurt, alright? As Yuji hearing this, could be like, right, sensei. Or not sensei. I don't think he calls Nanami sensei, actually. But anyways, we just go on to a time to where Yuji would be, like, walking towards Junpei. Now, everything like that goes as in canon, along with the fight with Nanami and Mahito. As Mahito, would have snuck a finger into Junpei's mom's house, and all the events go as in canon. Junpei's mom dies, Junpei is mad, he wants revenge. Yuji, I think Mahito's the one who found the finger. And currently Yuji is at 3 fingers right now, or 2. No. Damn it. No, yeah, he's at 3 because the one from the detention center, the one that he ate, like, purposely. So, yeah. Anyways, we're just gonna have a time. A time to where Yuji would have been sent on a sort of mission along with Nanami, as they're at a school now. Now, this school is this is the school that Junpei is going... Damn it. The one that Junpei goes to, and the one that a seal will be put around there. So a barrier will be put there. Mahito would be there. Junpei would be, hurting one of the students. But this is when Yuji would stop him, grabbing Junpei by the neck and asking him what he's doing. Junpei, would do his normal dialogue, and he would start fighting with Yuji. As Yuji would be beating the brakes off of Junpei. Junpei is not doing nothing to Yuji because Yuji has haki, okay? By the way, during the normal events, I think a couple of days went by during the time of the death of Junpei's mother and everything like that. So yes, notice Yuji did get a little bit more training with his haki and everything. So anyways, after this is when Mahito would show up. As, Yuji punches Junpei, not realizing that he's punching him towards Mahito. As Mahito would put an arm around Junpei saying, well, it seems I'm not gonna need you anymore. As he would then transfigure him. As Junpei would start attacking Yuji. So he would start crying. Now, I don't know what Junpei was saying, but I think Junpei wanted to die at that moment. As Yuji would do so, killing Junpei in a swift blow. Now, Yuji, he was becoming somewhat of friends to Junpei. He wanted to become a sorcerer with Junpei. As this is when Yuji sees Mahito, as Yuji has that same traumatized hatred type of look. As it's like lightning would be crackling around him and everything like that. This is when Yuji would quickly blitz Mahito and hit him with a gut punch. As Mahito notices that actually hurt. As he would spit out blood, this is when Yuji would punch him. As he jumps up to the top of the stairs, he would then follow him. Now, as this is going on, the fight would commence. As Yuji would then get hit by one of Mahito's gigantic arms. As Yuji's getting sent flying to the wall, Yuji would block himself as he puts his arms in front of him and just breaks through the wall as he falls into the courtyard. Now, Nanami would be seeing this as Nanami would rush over and they would both start jumping Mahito. But this is when Mahito would do his dialogue saying, "Is this death?" As he would then say, "Yoichi Tenkai, Jihei Endoka." Now, as he says, domain expansion, self-embodiment of perfection, he would then push back Yuji and Nanami. His hands would grow out from the ground, black hands. As is when the domain would fully manifest. As Yuji would see that Nanami is trapped, Yuji would bust through the domain. As, by the way, Mahito already touched Yuji. So Sukuna gave him the warning saying, if you touch my soul again, there will be serious consequences. Now, as this is happening, we're just gonna have a time to where Yuji would break through the domain with one punch, or not even like a drop kick. He would like cover his foot in haki. A drop kick would break through, as is when this would force Mahito to touch Yuji. As Yuji gets touched by Mahito, that sounds crazy, but Yuji's soul gets touched by Mahito, and in extension, Sukuna's. And this is when Sukuna said, "I warned you," as he would slash his neck. No, not his neck, but his like shoulder. As when Mahito would be very injured, Yuji would come down and start punching Mahito. But this is when Mahito would transform into a child, or just a small form of himself, start running around as he's planning on how to run away. As he would do so. Now, as he like escapes, Nanami would say, "Good job, Yuji. You really did save my life there." As is when Yuji would go blank for a second, as now he is in the mindscape. So he's in his own brain right now. As Sukuna would be talking with this kid, Sukuna would then say, "Hey, brat, what's that technique that you're using, huh? I'm a little bit interested in it." As Yuji would say, "What do you want to know, Sukuna? I don't even know if I should trust you with this information." As Sukuna would say, "Oh, shut up. You act like I could do anything in this damn head of yours." As is when Yuji would say, "It's a technique called haki. I call it haki. I guess it's like an offensive and a defensive type of move. It boosts my strength by a lot, actually. So normal punches, well, can hit the body, right? But I just noticed that this technique can also hit people's soul, just how Gojo told me. And it could also bypass a certain technique of Gojo's, but you must have full concentration under it." As you know, Yuji's saying this, Sukuna would smile saying, "I guess I won't be swapping vessels after all." As the way he says this, it's because he was thinking of, taking over Megumi because he has the 10 shadows. And Sukuna sees, like he's seen the 10 shadows before. Sukuna has gone up against the 10 shadow user. Well, I don't think he did actually. But he's heard things about the 10 shadows and how like they're so strong. And they have a technique that can summon something that could adapt to anything. They also have a technique that could heal and cancel, cursed techniques, which is crazy for Sukuna to hear. But Sukuna hearing that Yuji has this sort of ability, oh man. And by the way, Yuji also has the ability of Sukuna, but in the end, a little bit of spoilers over here, but Yuji is able to actually use cleave in the manga while fighting Sukuna, but it's like a watered down version where he has to actually make contact with a punch. So yes, Yuji's gonna have that ability, but not like during any fights. Like he's only gonna have that in the end of my what ifs. So when he has to fight Sukuna. So yeah, and that's the only time I'm doing that is when I actually read the manga more. So yeah, Yuji doesn't have all of Sukuna's abilities, only like a watered down version, but he doesn't know like he has it, okay? And he also needs more fingers in order to actually have it. Sorry for confusing you. No, he's not going to be using Sukuna's powers. Of course, that's just for the sake of the what if because of the haki and everything like that. But anyways, this is when Yuji would wake up well, not wake up, but like snap out of it, as Nanami says that they're going back to Jujutsu High. And that he has to get ready for the sister school exchange event. Now, I'm pretty sure after like the Junpei and everything incident, after the sister school exchange event, that's when Yuji meets his brothers. That one being Jin and something else. My bad, not Jim. Izo and Kejisu. Izo and Kejisu and Choso is his brother, but he, Yuji kills his brother Ijo and Kejisu. So yeah, I'll just tell you that. Anyways, let's just get on to a time to where they make it back to Jujutsu High. As a day would go by, Yuji would then surprise, not really surprise his teammates, because they know he's still alive. So I'm not gonna say that he surprises anyone, actually. So yeah, anyways, we go on to the Kyoto Sister Exchange event. Kyoto Sister School Exchange event, sorry. So anyways, we just have a time to where Yuji would be walking with Megumi and Nobara, as Nobara would ask where Yuji was yesterday, as Yuji said he was fighting a curse, or a special grade curse. As, Megumi would be like, huh? You're already fighting special grades, huh? I heard you beat the other one. Or, when you told me you beat that other special grade, I didn't believe you until, well, you came out alive. So, I guess this event's gonna be easy. As long as we are able to stick together, I think. No, he does not say that. But anyways, this is when Todo would show up, along with Maki's sister, which I don't know the name. Mai Zenin. Oh, yeah, Mai Zenin. Okay, let me list off the people that are here. We got Miwa, we got Momo, or I think Momo Nishimiya. We got Todo, Kamo, I think Kamo Noritoshi. And then we got Mekamaru. Okay, so those are all the guys that are in the Sister Goodwill event. So, yeah. Anyways, let's just get on to the rest. Now, Todo says, hey, you, Yuji, I heard you were able to exercise a special grade, all by yourself nonetheless. As Yuji would say, yeah, I did that. Why, what's it to you? As Todo would say, oh, it's nothing. But I got one question for you. If you encountered me in the forest, would you fight? As Yuji would say, of course, I would fight. I wouldn't run. As Todo would be happy by this answer. So anyways, oh, whoops, okay. My bad. Now as this happens, this absolute unit is gonna ask Yuji for a fight. As he's gonna go ask Yuji if he wants to fight. As this one Todo says he wants to fight. As Yuji says, alright, let's go then. As they begin to fight, this is when Todo and Yuji would start duking it out, but this is when they'll be stopped, saying that they still need to prepare for the event and everything like that. So yeah, as they were about to cause a whole bunch of trouble. So yeah, it's kind of understandable, Also, I need to say this. During the time where the time skip, Junpei, everything, that was 2 months. It was like a 2-month time skip between the detention center and then to the point where, Yuji is back at the sister exchange event. So yeah, anyways, the first years are I think Maki herself. Green hair, purple glasses. What's crazy? How did Maki turn from that to absolute... Okay, I'm not gonna say nothing. Alright, Maki, Inumaki, Panda, Megumi, Nobara, and Yuji. So yes, those are all the first years. Yes, first year, I'm pretty sure. Yes, they are first years. So yeah, anyways, let's just keep going with the event. Yeah, anyways, we have a time to where they all meet up, because after the fight, was about to start with Todo and Yuji, they just decide they can't fight, and Urahime actually stops them from fighting as well. So yeah, they all meet up, and it's the same scene where Gojo is gonna surprise the first years with Yuji being alive, but Yuji is obviously alive, and Gojo's actually saying that Yuji is potentially gonna be the strongest sorcerer in first year. So yeah. Anyways, they hear this. Like, a lot of them hear this. As Sonu Hime would show up, Gojo would show up, the old man would show up. I forgot his name, but I think it starts with a G. And then the other man, the guy with the puppets and everything like that, which got betrayed because, you know, he had to give away the secret on how to, like, make actual living cursed puppets and everything like that. So yeah. As anyways, they are about to get ready to start the event. Now, the first event is that they have to exercise curses around the forest and everything like that, or the designated area and everything like that. As this is where we go on to start the event. So, let's begin. So we start the event to where all the teams are running. As this is when they see a curse. As this spider curse would be swinging, this is when Todo would straight up just punch as air, like just wind would start flying everywhere. As this is when, you know, everybody, or you know, they would say scatter as Panda, Nobara, Inumaki, Maki, and Megumi would scatter, as now it's just Yuji and Todo fighting. This is when we have a time to where Todo would then start fighting with Yuji. As the spider would show up again, this is when Todo would punch through the spider and hit Yuji through the spider, as Yuji would be blocking with like an X formation with his arms, as he would activate his haki at that very moment. As this is when Todo would notice his hand hurts, as he notices that Yuji didn't even budge an inch. As this is beginning, this is when Yuji would start fighting with Todo, as we had the same thing as in canon, just a tiny bit more different. As like Yuji is not really using haki as much, he doesn't really want to kill Todo, but he still doesn't understand how durable Todo is. But now he's gonna start using haki. As Todo would tell him about that it's all wrong, the way he fights and everything like that, and that he has to imbue his technique, not technique, but he has to imbue cursed energy and think of cursed energy flowing through him, but as one. Don't just think it's coming up from your stomach and then up to your chest and into your legs and your arms. No. Think of the cursed energy as already in your body and everywhere. As just when Yuji would understand, as they would continue to fight. Now, as Yuji would continue to fight, Yuji would actually turn on his haki and imbue his full power in a punch. As Todo gets hit by this, he would get sent flying, as he would get sent flying into 5 trees. As Todo would get back up with a big smile, ready to continue the fight. But as they are fighting, this is when a veil would pop up. As, you know, all the events go as in canon, Gojo is not able to pass through the barrier, Megumi is injured by Hanami, and this is when we have a time to where Todo and Yuji would save Maki. Now, as this happens, Todo's asking Yuji if he's ready. As Yuji, with a gigantic smile on his face, would smile, saying he's ready to test his abilities out and actually go full strength. Since this is a cursed spirit, so he doesn't have to care about anything. He is definitely gonna go all out. He doesn't care about the life of cursed spirits. Sounds crazy, but like cursed spirits are kind of evil. Like, I've never seen one good cursed spirit, and you know, I've only seen one cursed spirit that wanted a better life for themselves, and that's just Jogo. Jogo wanted cursed spirits to live as humans. So yeah, anyways, this is the time where Yuji or Todo would say, anyways, Yuji, I'm not gonna help you until you land a Black Flash. As Yuji hearing this is like, huh? It's a Black Flash. As Todo would explain it. Now, as this happens, Yuji would be in full concentration at this moment. Not like he would use his rage for the first, but this is when Todo would slap him after, you know, he sends Hanami flying with the punch. As he says that rage can be something that can also help, but it also make him, like, you know, lose the fight if he uses that rage. As that's when we have a time to where Yuji is in total concentration, as his arms would turn black. As Todo sees this and he's like, it's that technique again. That technique that really hurts. As this is when haki would start to like crackle around Yuji's arm. Now, I'll just say it's just like black lightning that's crackling around Yuji's arm, which is making Todo very surprised because he never knew Black Flash doesn't do that. But this isn't Black Flash. This is like just haki, and it's like an aura. So it's not like Conqueror's haki. I'm just giving haki itself a better aura for Yuji, representing the power behind the punch that he's about to land. Now, anyways, as he rushes in at Hanami would send a whole bunch of like wood towards Yuji, but Yuji would straight up punch Hanami as Hanami gets hit with a black flash. Now, after this black flash is hit, this is when, Hanami would be heavily injured, as almost the entire right side of Hanami's body would be gone, as she would say, "What the heck is this?" As I can't do that distorted voice. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I feel like that's a good representation of her voice. So yeah. Anyways, let's just get on. So this is when the battle would go as in canon, but a little bit more differently, because Yuji would be beating the absolute living shit out of Hanami. Sorry for my language, but there's the only way of putting it. He absolutely whooped her, along with Todo, but Todo's strength was way less than Yuji. And Yuji has haki. Yuji is doing Titanic level blows. Like, that's how heavy those hits are. Those are like a very hard hits, especially when he hits 4 black flashes, and he even hits a 5th one. As you know, this is when we have a time to where the barrier would be released. As this is when Hanami is about to say domain expansion, Gojo would appear. As this is when we hear Hollow Purple charging up. Well, not charging up, but we just hear Gojo and everything saying his like declarations of 9 crows or something. As this is when he sends the Hollow Purple. Yuji's about to rush in at Hanami, but Todo would then like grab him saying, "No, Yuji." As this is when we have a time to where Hanami would have been, almost caught by that Hollow Purple, but she would, fortunately for plot, would escape. I need Yuji to whoop ass, okay? I need him to fight people. Now, guys, in the course of this, nothing is gonna be canon anymore. Nothing will be canon. I'll say some parts are gonna stay canon, but Yuji's strength is so much to the point where nothing can, actually challenge his strength. Except for Sukuna, because Sukuna, it's kind of like he shares the abilities with Yuji. Well, not really. I'll just say no. But anyways, this is when we have a time to where Mahito would be seen with 3 people as he would revive the 3 death womb paintings, and he stole 3 death womb paintings and 6 of Sukuna's fingers and everything like that. As I'm pretty sure Jogo is gonna have 11. And at the moment, Yuji is at 3, but when he goes to the Yasuichi Bridge, I don't know what the curse is over there, but I would have to watch it. But anyways, as this is going on, they just have a time to where, they're gonna go play baseball, I'm pretty sure. Yes, baseball. So the exchange event is being cleaned up. Everything is being worked on and everything like that. So they have to stop the exchange event, actually. So yeah, and anyways, one thing that I forgot is Yasuichi Bridge. Is that at the end where Yuji has to fight? Okay, the origin of blind obedience, I think, is the episode. Yes, that's where they go and investigate onto a bridge. So yeah, but anyways, I think this is where we don't stop here, but this is where we stop, because I've started this what if at 132, and I've literally been rewatching Jujutsu Kaisen while making the what if. So yeah, yes, I know it's been that long since I've actually seriously watched Jujutsu Kaisen. But anyways, it's whatever. Let's get on to the next arc. Technically the next arc. I'll skip the baseball part, okay? I'm skipping the baseball part. It's not really, it doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna go on to the bridge incident. I'm pretty sure it's called the Yasuichi Bridge. Okay, on second thought, I think we should end off the what if here, because after this arc, this is where, everything starts to happen. The 2 brothers die, and this will then lead on to Shibuya. So I just want to connect it to where the Yasuichi bridge arc is going to be on second part, along with the Shibuya incident. So anyways, I hope you guys... What the hell? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below for more videos like this. I haven't been posting a lot, but that's just because I had like exams, I had tests. Even though I could juggle through, at the end of the day, I would feel burnt out. I do play a lot of chess in school too. I have a chess club, so you know, I guess I just usually waste more of my time on chess now. But anyways, really hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe. And yeah, I will be making a couple of movies, way more than before. I have my entire world is now open to My Hero Academia, except I can't really do My Hero Academia movies yet, and I can't really do, you know, JJK ones yet, because I do need to make a one about the manga. But anyways, I talked long enough, so peace.